Is buying PSA 9s really that bad? Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. So, we've talked before about PSA 9s. I've done quite a few videos about them. I like PSA 9s for ultramodern. I like lower grade for vintage. And, I talked about Jeff Wilson's video, I don't know, a month or two ago, where he said it is a grave, terrible, awful mistake if you're buying anything but PSA 10s for investment purposes. And I talked about how ridiculous that was at the time, but I never really considered that nines might be going up just as much as, if not more than, in some cases, PSA 10s. Now, of course, your return isn't going to be the same. So 50% of a $100 card is only a $50 gain, whereas 50% of a $1,000 card is a $500 gain. But percentage-wise, we're talking about the same thing. And with the lower grade cards, you can buy more of them, get a bigger collection, which is my thing. I've talked about this. I'm repeating myself. I decided I was going to look into what does this look like across a bunch of iconic cards and see if nines are appreciating close to as much. Now, originally in this analysis, I had the S&P 500 as a comparison. I decided to take it out because I've been doing this long enough, over 4 years now, that I know that it is going to create havoc in my comments section from people who don't pay any attention, who don't listen. They're only skimming through videos, and then they go into the comments section enraged by something that they thought they heard or thought they saw. But the S&P 500 is up 17% in the past year, which is really good. 17% is great. Baseball cards are up a lot more than that, and basketball cards too in a lot of cases. And especially, we're talking about iconic cards. And we talked, I hate rehashing topics I've just talked about. Like I was on Hobby Hotline on Saturday and we talked about, are we in a bubble? And I said, well, yeah, we're kind of in a bubble, but it's mostly iconic cards. And what is happening with the PSA 9s? Because everybody talks about the 10s, everybody talks about the high grade cards. But what's happening with those lower grade cards? They're also going up a significant amount. And I'm going to show you, I chose about a dozen or so cards that I think are important to the hobby long term and how they're doing in higher grade versus slightly lower grade in terms of percentages. And I used Card Ladder for this. Card Ladder is not a sponsor of my channel, but I find it to be a really cool tool. So anyway, let's start with the most iconic of these, which is the 89 Upper Deck Griffey. 89 Upper Deck Griffey in a PSA 10 is up 65% in the last year. This is not this year. It's in the last 12 months. As of a year ago today or yesterday or whatever, it's up 65%, PSA 10. And I've always thought, well, 10s are up so high, 9s aren't appreciating that much, but that's not true. When 10s go up so high, it leaves people like me to say, well, I don't want a 10. I can't afford a 10. It would be silly to buy a 10 at $4,000. I want a 9, and 9s are up 51%. So 51% versus 65. Sure, the 10's up higher, but the 9's up a ridiculous high amount. It's 3x'd the return of the S&P 500. And I am not a financial advisor. I am not advising you to put your money into cards as opposed to stocks. I would rather, well, I shouldn't say I would rather. I definitely would rather have all my money in cards, but that wouldn't be prudent, as a certain SNL character once said. But yet, do not convert your 401k into cards, by the way, please. I'm not advising you on your cards. I'm just noting some interesting trends. Even a PSA 8 of the Griffey, 89 Upper Deck, is up 27% over the last year. How about the 84 Donruss Don Mattingly? Great card, iconic card. PSA 10's up 12% over the last year. PSA 9's up 41%. So the 9 is up higher as a percentage. And the 10 is a reasonable pop. It's 300 some odd, I think, if I remember correctly. 1975 Topps George Brett. Now, it gets a little bit trickier with vintage because you're obviously not going to use a 10 for a car from 1975. The pop is very low. So I went with a 9. 9s are up 31%. 8s are up 74%. Even the 7s are up 8%. But the 8s are up significantly more than the 9s. To be clear, this is all very anecdotal. There is no aggregate summary here. There is no index for these cards. But it's just interesting anecdotes. 1968 Topps Nolan Ryan. And I'll get back to modern cards in a little bit. PSA 8 up 18%. Pretty good. PSA 7 up 109%. 6s are up 70%. 5s are up 110%. Even a PSA 2 is up 72%. 75%. So the highest grade one, an 8, probably hasn't transacted much, but that one's only up 18% in the past year. The other ones are all up at least 70%. And none of them are stagnating. None of them are falling behind. They're all way up in the past year. 1979 Topps Ozzie Smith. We're talking about iconic cards. I should have actually grabbed these cards because I have many of these cards. I should have grabbed them to show them, but I'm just going to put them up here on the screen. 79 Topps Ozzie Smith. PSA 9, 45% up. Great. PSA 8, 70. It's up 70%. PSA 7's up 35%. So even if you're buying a 7, you're still seeing gains. Those lower grade cards, not that 7's lower for 1979, but you're getting my point. I didn't look past the 7. I think this is a really interesting exercise. If you're feeling like, oh, I need 10s, I need high grades, will they go up more? Potentially. But when those big ones go up, it drags the ones behind them up too. 1987 Topps Tiffany Bo Jackson. PSA 10 up 34%. 9's up 29. Very close, pretty equal. 10s and 9s both going up at roughly a third of their value in the past year. 2004 Mega Cracks Messi. Remember, we just had a private sale of this for $1.5 million. The 10 is up 82%. I don't know if that $1.5 million sale is in there yet. 82% for a 10. 9s are only up 14%. 8s are up 526%. 7s are up 394%. 6s are up 282%. My hope of getting one of these is pretty close to out the window. Those are monster returns on the lower grade Messi rookies. So then I thought, what about a card that's going down? And I figured Mike Trout, 2011 Topps update, just a base card. PSA 10 is down 2% in the last year. PSA 9 is down 7%. Pretty close, pretty equal. 2001 Topps Chrome Traded Albert Pujols. 10 is up 120%. 9 is up 78%. Again, 9's lagging a little bit, but still way up. Buying 9's is kind of seen as a poor man's collection. But those are way up this year, in the past year. 1992 Beam Team Shaquille O'Neal, and this is just the regular Beam Team, not the members only. 54% up for PSA 10s, 47% for 9s. Again, pretty equal. 2018 Topps Chrome Shohei Pitching base card. PSA 10s are up 40%. I have a PSA 10 of this. Up 40%. PSA 9s are up 35%. Pretty equal. What about the refractor The 10s are up 80%, 9s are up 43. So the 9s are lagging behind by about half there. Last one is 1986 Topps traded Tiffany Barry Bonds. PSA 10 is up 81%. A 9 is up 65%. Amazing. Amazing performance for some 9s and some lower grade cards. And the more I show, the more it proves this. Now, is this a bubble? We still don't know. I believe it is, based on the insane increases that we're seeing. Are a lot more people entering the hobby? Probably. Is that sustainable? Maybe. But also maybe not. It is a bonkers time for any big card, iconic cards, brand new cards, fresh off the line. Well, not fresh off the line, like the actual literal fresh off the line with Panini, but yeah, it's a crazy time, and it's fun to be collecting, but it's also difficult. And it makes it more difficult when even the 9s, even the PSA 7 Nolan Ryans are skyrocketing. PSA 2s are up 75%. But if you're concerned about your collection being lower grade, I don't think there's reason to be. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm very curious. Remember, this is very anecdotal. This is only 1 year. This is not a long-term project. This is only looking back 1 year. And I think that these performed better than I expected against 10s. In some cases, they beat the 10s. And in some cases, the 10s have like NBA gold stickers on them that inflated their value of some of those sales. But yeah, let me know in comments what your thoughts are. One last thing. Sports Card Clubhouse, the podcasting network that Greg, Adam, and I launched on Monday, already has over 250 subscribers just on YouTube. And then it has a ton of people finding it on Spotify and other podcasting networks as well. In fact, we've gotten comments from people who had never heard of us before and really enjoyed the podcast. So if you haven't already gone over, look it up on your podcasting app or here on YouTube, Sports Card Clubhouse. The first episode of the first series we're launching is called Surface Issues. You find that as well. That one is just me and Greg. We'll have some more here coming up in the near future. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'll see you all soon.